Good afternoon, this is Cadet Seaman Brooks with Burlington Indirect TC, and I haven't made a video in a while, so I just want to touch bases, and I got a good video anyway to show you guys. Now people have been asking me when I'm going to promote, and if I'm promoted yet. I'm not. I have my paperwork turned in and just waiting for it to come back, so hopefully tomorrow is my uniform day, so maybe I'll get awarded then. If not, next week hopefully. Hoping to be PO2 by the end of the year. So anyway, I'm going to get started with this video. Now, this video is, made this little spreadsheet here of, the military ranks and whatnot. Now, over here, I don't think, there it is. It says Army, Marines, Air Force, Navy, and Coast Guard. Now, Coast Guard isn't considered an actual branch of the military. It's kind of iffy. It's considered Department of Defense, Homeland Security type stuff. So this really isn't part of the military, but I just decided to put it on here. So let's start with E1, which is the base rank as an enlisted. Going as a private in the Army, private in Marines, basic airman in Air Force, and seaman recruits in both Coast Guard and Navy. Now, what's different from the rest is the next rank, which is Private 2, Private First Class, Airman for Air Force, Seaman Apprentice. Now, Coast Guard has Seaman Apprentice, Fireman Apprentice, and Airman Apprentice, which most people did not know. Sorry, my computer's, yeah. So there's actually 3 different type of apprentices that there actually is. And then, it goes on to Private First Class, Lance Corporal for Marines, Airman First Class for Air Force, Seaman, normal seaman like I am, but not cadet seaman. We have, and then for Coast Guard they have Seaman, Fireman, and Airman for Coast Guard. Now the next, which is it's an E4 technically, but it's Specialist in the Army, which there's no other rank that technically matches that. The regular E4 is Corporal. Same in the Marines as Corporal. Senior Airman for Air Force. Petty Officer 3rd Class for both Coast Guard and Navy. Then we have E5, which is Sergeant. Sergeant for Army and Marine Corps. Staff Sergeant for Air Force. And Petty Officer 2nd Class for both Coast Guard and Navy. Then we have Staff Sergeant for Army. Staff Sergeant for Marines. Technical Sergeant for Air Force, Petty Officer 1st Class for Navy and Coast Guard. We have for E7, Sergeant 1st Class, Gunnery Sergeant, Sergeant 1st Class for Army, Gunnery Sergeant for Marines, Master Sergeant for Air Force, Chief Petty Officer for Navy and Coast Guard. Now, the next one is E7 Special, and it's only for Air Force, Master Sergeant, but inside their ranking, like their rank insignia, has a little diamond instead of the normal. I'm not sure exactly why. Maybe somebody can tell me that. It would be a great comment. But I've read some stuff, but I just really haven't got a definite answer. For E8, there's a Master Sergeant for both Marines and Army, and Senior Master Sergeant for Air Force, and Senior Chief Petty Officer for both Coast Guard and Navy. For E8 Special, they have First Sergeant for Army, First Sergeant for Marines. Sorry about that. Senior Master Sergeant Special with the diamond I was noting, and there's no equivalent rank in Navy or Coast Guard for those. For E9, we have Sergeant Major and Master Gunnery Sergeant for Marines and Sergeant Major for Army, and Chief Master Sergeant for Air Force, and Master Chief Petty Officer for the Navy. Nope, sorry. Master Chief Petty Officer, just normal. I'm not sure why this isn't up here. Anyway, yeah. So there's Master Chief Petty Officer, just normal Master Chief Petty Officer Navy, and Master Chief Petty Officer, but not... Okay, Master Chief Petty Officer for Navy, Master Chief Petty Officer for Coast Guard. E9 Special, only for Air Force, which is Chief Master Sergeant with the diamond. Then we have Command Sergeant Major and Sergeant Major for Army and Marine Corps. Then we have Command Chief Master Sergeant. Now, we have a Command Master Chief for Navy, and Coast Guard actually does not have an equivalent rank, because this actually is equivalent to this, so this doesn't actually have an equivalent rank of Command. At least it does. Okay. This is really weird now. I don't know what happened here. Alright. I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's see. E9 as well, we have Sergeant Major of the Army, Sergeant Major of the Marines, Chief Master Sergeant of the Air Force, Master Chief Petty Officer of the Navy, and Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard. So that's how that goes. And I figured out here. E10 for Coast Guard, they consider Master Chief Petty Officer of the Coast Guard E10, when Navy considers it E9, which it technically is because it's a Master Chief. But yeah, so they're weird on that. I don't understand. Then they have Chief Warrant Officer 1, Chief Warrant Officer 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Army. Chief Warrant Officer 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for Marines. Air Force has no Chief Warrant Officers. Navy has gotten rid of the first warrant officer, and I believe also the fifth. I'm not positive, but I'm pretty sure they got rid of the fifth too. But I know they have Petty Officer 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, and possibly 5th. And Coast Guard has Chief Warrant Officer 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. And the next ranks here are officer ranks. Now these ones are the important ones, seeing how these are the people that you'll be needing to salute, whether you're in NJROTC or not. If you're in uniform and you see an officer, whether they're in NJROTC in the real military, you need to salute them. So we're going to start out with Second Lieutenant, and that goes for Air Force, Marines, and Army. Now, Navy and Coast Guard have ensigns. So it goes the Second Lieutenant for first three branches, Air Force, Marines, and Army, and Navy and Coast Guard have ensigns. And then it goes First Lieutenant for the first three, Air Force, Marines, and Army, and Lieutenant JG for Coast Guard and Navy. Then we have Captain for the first three, Lieutenant for Navy and Coast Guard. We have Major. We have Major for Army, Marines, and Air Force. And we have Lieutenant Commander for Navy and Coast Guard. Then we have Lieutenant Colonel for Army, Marines, and Air Force. Then we have Commander for Navy and Coast Guard. Let me scroll down here. Okay, and then we have Colonel for Army, Marines, and Air Force. And then we have Captain for Navy and Coast Guard. And then we go into the generals, or admirals, depending. So we have Brigadier General for Army, Marines, and Army, Marines, and Air Force. And then we have Rear Admiral Lower Half for Coast Guard and Navy. Then we have Major General for the first three, and Rear Admiral Upper Half for Navy and Coast Guard. Then we have Lieutenant General for the first three, Army, Marines, and Air Force. And then we have Vice Admiral for Navy and Coast Guard. Then we have General, Normal General for the first three, Army, Marines, Air Force, and then Admiral for Navy and Coast Guard. Now the next ranks are, they're officer, but they're considered a special rank, seeing how they're only given in the time of war. So we have General of the Army, which has been a General Army. There has not been a General of the Marine Corps yet. There's been General of the Air Force, and there's been Fleet Admiral for the Navy, but not for the Coast Guard yet. Now, there was another rank that I saw that's Master Fleet Admiral. That has 5 stars and a star and an anchor in the middle, I believe it is. Or something like that. I don't know if it's real or not. Maybe one of you can tell me that. Pretty sure it's not, because it does not sound real at all. But, so those are your ranks. Now, I told you that the officer ranks are the most important. So I'm going to show you what those look like. This site, since the last site I used I didn't give credit to, but it's navy.military, and it has a whole bunch of useful stuff I like to use a lot. So we have, for 01, this is your most important officer in the Navy, or your least important officer in the Navy. Ensign, you get 1 gold bar. Your shoulder board looks like has 1 gold stripe with a star. And so does the sleeve, 1 gold stripe with a star. 02, which is Lieutenant Junior grade, is 1 silver bar, still a whole gold stripe with like a 3rd gold stripe above it with a star. Same thing on the sleeve, is a full gold bar with a 3rd of a gold bar, I call it, with a star. Lieutenant, 03, 2 gold bars connected. And that's 2 full gold, or silver bars. Yes, this has 2 complete gold bars with a star, 2 complete gold stars with a star on the sleeve and shoulder. Then we have 04, which is Lieutenant Commander, which is a gold oak leaf, and that is 1 full stripe, gold stripe, with 1/3 gold stripe with a full gold stripe with a star on the sleeve and shoulder board. Then we have commander rank, which is a silver oak leaf with 3 complete stripes with the star on both sleeve and star on the sleeve and shoulder board. Okay, and probably the most important officer is captain, which is a eagle holding arrows, a silver eagle holding arrows, with 4 complete gold bars with a star, with stripes, excuse me, not bars, stripes with a star on both the shoulder and the sleeve. Now that's probably the most important officer. Now we get into admirals here, and admirals, as you notice that it goes, gold is more like least important because you start out with a gold bar and you eventually go up to 2 silver bars. You start out with a gold oak leaf and you eventually end up into a silver eagle. You can tell that silver is more, it seems like silver is more important. And you get silver stars as an admiral, not gold. So it seems like silver is more important. Okay, so we have rear admiral lower half, 1 star. Shoulder board is gold, which is way different from officers. Generals or admirals' shoulder boards are yellow or gold. They're bright gold, and they have an anchor with a star on it as a rear admiral lower half. And then you have, I call it like 3 gold bars connected, so it's a big stripe with a star above it. Then we have rear admiral upper half, which is 2 stars. 2 stars with an anchor on a gold shoulder board. We have a big stripe with a regular stripe with a star for the sleeve. For vice admiral, we have 3 stars. 3 stars in a pyramid shape with an anchor on a gold shoulder board. We have a thick line with 2 regular lines and a star for the sleeve. Admiral, which is the most important admiral, seeing how it's the most it's not the most common, it's more common than what fleet admirals. 4 stars, 4 stars in a pyramid with 1 on the bottom with an anchor on the gold shoulder board. And that has 1 thick one with 3 regular size stripes and a star on the sleeve. Now, fleet admiral, this is the most important. This is the most important rank that you can possibly get. It says it's an O11, but it's actually considered an O special. A fleet admiral, 5 stars, which are arranged in a pentagon pattern. You have an anchor on a gold shoulder board one big stripe with 4, count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, regular stripes with the star on the sleeve. Now, all the ranks, all these, all the way up to ensign, are exactly the same for every branch of the military. They're all the same thing. The only thing that differs are these. These are for Coast Guard and Navy are exactly the same, just different color sleeve, I think, and shoulder board. But other than that, they're exactly the same. These, all these, the rank insignias are exactly the same in every single branch. Air Force has a little bit different sleeve patterns, and as far as I know, Marines and Army, they don't have any sleeve patterns and whatnot. So, as long as you see one of these on their rank insignia, or a gold strap on their dress blue hat, or their dress hat, whichever one they're wearing, if you see one of these, you better be saluting them if you're in uniform. Whether you're in JROTS, whether you're in Navy, Marine Corps, Army, Coast Guard, which I don't think they have very many, or, what one did I not say? Air Force. Yeah, Air Force. I didn't say Air Force. So if you're in any of those units, or if you're in the real military, which I'm sure you already know this, but if you're in the real military and you're any rank below these, or enlisted, you salute. Yeah, so this is your Navy and officers and Navy ranking video here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it's very useful. Yeah, I'll be making more videos here pretty soon, so thanks for watching. Subscribe.